Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Mombi Hinga, and today we are talking about something that sneaks up on us in life and business, the boiling frog syndrome. You might have heard this story before. A frog sits in a pot of lukewarm water, chilling, completely comfortable, but then the heat is slowly turned up just a little bit at a time. The frog doesn't notice because the change is so gradual, so subtle. By the time the water is boiling, it's too late. The frog's strength is drained and it no longer has the energy to escape. Now I know you're thinking, what does this old story have to do with your life, your business, your goals, everything? Because like that frog, we often don't notice the small creeping changes that are pulling us off course. Let me give you an example. Have you ever started out something with a clear vision? You're fired up and ready to take on the world. You're full of energy, you're focused on your goals, working hard every day. Then life happens. You take a day off, you cut a small corner, you accept a client who doesn't quite fit your values because, hey, you need the money, right? And then little by little, these tiny compromises start to stack up. They don't seem like much in the moment, but over time they add up, and before you know it, you've drifted far off from where you wanted to be. It's not always the big dramatic events that throw us off course. It is the slowly, barely noticeable changes, the small sacrifices of our principles, our habits, and our standards. And that's where the real danger lies. Let's dive deeper into this concept. In Jeff Olson's book, The Slight Edge, the idea of small incremental changes is at the core of the book. Olson talks about how success doesn't come from one massive action, but from the accumulation of small, consistent decisions made every single day. It's those little choices like skipping the gym today, procrastinating on a project, choosing fast food over a healthy meal that seem insignificant at the moment, but over time, they either lead you towards success or pull you into failure. In The Slight Edge, Olson uses the example of two people who start in the same place in life. They have the same job, the same financial status, and the same opportunities. One of them makes small, positive decisions every day, reading 10 pages of a book, investing a little money, or going for a jog in the morning. The other one makes small, seemingly harmless choices that have negative impact, watching an extra hour of TV, skipping workouts, or ignoring opportunities for personal development. At first, the differences between the two are almost invisible, but over time, the person making positive choices experiences exponential growth. They become healthier, wealthier, and ultimately more successful. Meanwhile, the person who made small negative decisions slowly declines without even noticing it. This is exactly how the boiling frog syndrome works. You don't feel the impact of those tiny decisions right away, but over months or years, they create massive difference in where you end up. One person escapes the boiling pot and the other person gets stuck in it. Let me take you back to one of the most iconic TV shows, Breaking Bad. You might have watched it or heard about it. This is a perfect example of how small incremental changes can completely transform a person's life. Slowly at first, but then dramatically. At the beginning of Breaking Bad, Walter White is a mild-mannered high school chemistry teacher. He's living a life of quiet desperation, struggling to make ends meet. But then after being diagnosed with cancer, Walter makes a small decision. He's going to cook meth to make some quick money for his family before he dies. Initially, it seems like a small compromise, almost justifiable. He's not a bad guy, right? He's doing it for his family. But then what happens over the course of the rest of the seasons is a slow descent into darkness. Every small choice Walter makes, whether it's to lie to his wife or a morally questionable decision in his drug empire, seems small at the time, but those little decisions accumulate, and before long, he's no longer the person he was. By the time the show ends, Walter has transformed from a quiet teacher into a ruthless drug kingpin. His entire life and the lives of people around him are shattered, but it didn't happen overnight. It was a series of seemingly insignificant choices that led to his downfall. Breaking Bad, of course, is a fictional story, but its lesson is very real. It shows us how easy it is to justify small compromises and rationalize bad decisions. And before you know it, you've gone too far down a path you never intended to take. Just like the frog in the pot, Walter doesn't realize the water is boiling until it's too late. Why does this matter in life and business? Why are we talking about this? Because the boiling frog syndrome is happening to all of us in one way or another. Whether it's in our personal lives or businesses or our careers, we are all at risk of slowly drifting off course without even realizing it. Think about your habits. Let's say you're building a business and you've set some clear goals. Maybe you're focused on growing your client base or launching a new product. At first, you're all in. You're working hard, you're making progress, you're staying disciplined, but over time, you start making small compromises. You skip a networking event. You let your content schedule slip. I've done that. Or you take on clients that aren't a perfect fit just to keep the cash flowing. None of these decisions are catastrophic on their own, but they start to accumulate. Before you know it, you're miles away from your original vision. You've lost the momentum you had once, and your business is no longer aligned with your values. And the worst part is you might not even realize it until it's too late. So this is where self-awareness and discipline come in. It's crucial to regularly check in with yourself and ask, am I still on the path I set out for myself? Am I making small decisions that are taking me in the wrong direction? Are there tiny compromises I've been brushing off that could lead to bigger problems down the road? Because here is the truth. The difference between success and failure in life and business often comes down to those small, seemingly insignificant choices. So, how do you avoid the boiling frog trap? How do you make sure you're not slowly drifting off course without even realizing it? 1. Regular self-assessment. Take time to regularly reflect on your decisions and actions. Are they still aligned with your values and goals? Are you making small compromises that could lead to bigger issues? 2nd, pay attention to discomfort. Discomfort is a signal. If something feels off, don't ignore it. That's the heat turning up. Instead of adjusting to it, address it head on. 3, consistency over intensity. Success doesn't come from one massive action. It is the accumulation of small, consistent decisions over time. Focus on making small positive choices every day. They might not seem like much right now, but over time, they'll lead to massive growth. 4, set non-negotiables. Define the standards and values that you refuse to compromise on, whether it's in your business, your health, or your personal life. This will help you avoid the temptation of making small, seemingly harmless sacrifices. 5, accountability. Surround yourself with people who hold you accountable. They're like the friend who sees you only once in a while. They notice the changes you've become blind to. Okay? And at the end of the day, the boiling frog syndrome is a cautionary tale, but it's also an opportunity. You have the power to recognize the small changes before they spiral out of control. You're not a frog. You have awareness, discipline, and the ability to make conscious choices. In life and in business, the people who thrive aren't the ones who avoid discomfort. They're the ones who recognize it early, adapt, and use it as a fuel for growth. So take a moment to check the temperature of the water you're in. Is it getting too warm? Are you slowly drifting off course? The good news is it's never too late to make a change. You have the power to leap out of the pot, to course correct, and to build the life and business you want. Okay? Thank you for tuning in today. Drop a comment below and share one small change you're going to make to ensure that you're staying on track with your goals. And remember, growth happens in the discomfort. So keep evolving, keep pushing forward, and I'll see you in the next one.